It's a kind of quid pro quo. Benjamin Netanyahu, currently at the White House, is nominating Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. In return, Trump is backing the Netanyahu plan to remove Palestinians from Gaza by persuading other Arab countries to offer them a better life. The two men have been discussing a 60-day ceasefire under which Hamas would release the last living hostages in exchange for Israeli troops withdrawing to a buffer zone. Netanyahu is also planning a massive security camp for 600,000 displaced Palestinians who'd be screened and then not allowed to leave until his giant immigration plan gets going. A humanitarian vision or a crime? Let's talk now to Ehud Olmert, former Israeli Prime Minister. Mr. Olmert, thank you very much for talking to us tonight. This discussion in the White House, however surreal, suggests that your vision and other people's vision for a two-state solution and a Palestinian state is, as far as Mr. Netanyahu is concerned, absolutely dead.
It's not dead. It was never alive, as far as Netanyahu is concerned. He and his cabinet are against it. As you can understand from the statements made by his Minister of Defense now, suggesting to deport 600,000 of the Gazans into a remote place near Rafah. They have other ideas about Gaza, none of which may be part of the peace process, but rather deportation and clearing part of Gaza so that perhaps they will be able to establish new settlements. I don't know, but definitely nothing close to thinking about two states.
Indeed. Indeed, he really want to remove all Palestinian Arabs out of Gaza if he possibly can. Do you understand at this point which countries around the Arab world might conceivably take them? Because there seems to be no indication that anyone wants to be involved in this.
None. There's no question. None.
So it's a fantasy.
Each one, yeah, it's an absolute fantasy. I think that President Trump said something about deportation a while ago. I think he forgot it long ago that he ever mentioned it. In fact, in the last couple of days, I heard very encouraging statements made by him talking about the suffering of the Gazans and the need to try and take care of the humanitarian needs, which I love very much because I think this is what needs to be done. But the Minister of Defense and Netanyahu and his bunch of thugs which are running the cabinet, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and the others, they have different ideas.
So the phrase, satire has gone to die is heard from time to time. But what did you make of that exchange where Netanyahu said that he was going to nominate President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, and Trump said, well, I'm going to back your plan for the displacement of the Gazan people? Absolutely astonishing.
It's so sad, otherwise it could have been so funny, because on the one hand, Netanyahu can, I think, be very useful in making Trump a serious candidate for peace if he will agree to move forward into negotiations with the Palestinians towards a two-state solution. And then maybe his recommendation would have been received in a serious manner by the committee. I doubt whether a recommendation of Benjamin Netanyahu for a Nobel Prize for Peace is what can be very helpful to Trump to be accepted. But
I don't think
this is their business. I'm not part of it.
I think you're absolutely right. I get the sense at the moment that after the attacks on Iran and the success of those, at least for the time being, and America's involvement, there is absolutely no American pressure really on Benjamin Netanyahu anymore, if there ever was under Donald Trump.
I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not familiar. I'm not privy to any possible source of information that could tell me. The only thing that I ask myself is, I'm trying to understand President Trump. If he's really serious in trying to project an image of a peacemaker, and if he really cares for the hostages, and I think he does, by the way. I think he does. You have to give him that credit. He helped release some of them at an earlier stage, and then he was helpful in releasing another American-born hostage. And I think he really cares. But the only way, you don't need to know the facts. You don't need to know all the details. It's very simple. Do you imagine Hamas holding the hostages, releasing them for nothing else than end of the war? I mean, it's inconceivable. You know, they are murderers, they are killers, they are atrocious. Every one of them should have been punished in the most devastating manner. Okay, but they are not dumps. They are not going to release the only asset that they hold for nothing less than what possibly can keep them somehow alive. Therefore, there is only one way to release the hostages, which is a permanent ceasefire or a long ceasefire like Tahdiya, something that is traditional in the frame of mind of the Hamas that they can agree to. But, and that is what Netanyahu is not prepared to do, because he is captive by Ben Gvir and Smotrich, and he will not do anything that can jeopardize the stability of his government. Yeah. So I don't care about you. I don't know all the details. I understand the basic parameters of what's going on here. And therefore, unless there will be a consent about ending the war, there will not be an agreement. And the only person that can force an end to the war is Donald Trump. If he will do it, and if this will be part of a strategy that will then also bring in to Gaza an interim security force made of Palestinians and Arab armies, Egyptians and Jordanians and Emiratis and Saudis and Bahrainis and others, to make sure that Hamas is not resurrected, and then he forces Netanyahu to start negotiations on peace, then he will get a peace prize, and we will get peace, which is what we need.
Well, we all need optimism, but I have to say, Mr. Olmert, listening to that conversation in the White House, I just don't believe that President Trump has it in him to do what you say quite rightly absolutely needs to be done. But it was a great privilege having this conversation. Thank you very, very much for talking to me.